Alright, so in this video I go over front squats and trying to mobilize for front squats. As you can see, I'm squatting on a box because I'm horrible at this, but I wanted to show a video on kind of how I mobilize or how I would go about mobilizing if this is something I want to tackle. And today I am, just because I'm kind of beat up and this is kind of a deload week, so this allows me to kind of fuck around with different things. So, having a tough time keeping my elbows up. If you saw that video, my elbows were pretty high, or not pretty, they're pretty low, and it's very hard for me to put them high. So one of the things that I started by doing was mobilizing my wrist. A lot of this stuff, all this stuff I learned from a mobility wad, Kelly Starrett, so you can check out his videos. Now, some personal experience. A lot of these stretches that Kelly teaches, that if you've never done them before, they're kind of awkward because if they're new to you, if you're not used to stretching with bands, they're kind of odd. But like my right wrist is very stiff and very tight. Keeping my right elbow up is very tight. So what this does, it distracts the upper bone or the lower arm bone back so that the wrist can stretch out a little bit better, and allows for me to use my body weight to really get that extension in the wrist. And that's one of my main limiters, because if the weight's not heavy enough, I can't get that hand to go back. So what I'm doing is I'm using my other hand to press it down to really just stretch that wrist. I'm just kind of flexing and extending in this case, my left elbow, just so I can stretch this out really good. That way I can get that good position. It takes a lot of practice and takes some getting used to. And I tell you right now, this stuff does work. For a small joint, it's weird because you can't really tell if it's improving, and it really is. Here I'm foam rolling my triceps. I'm using the barbell, of course, and it's kind of cool when you use a little knurling. You can actually kind of tack and stretch, where you kind of press on the muscle or the skin to kind of help get a stretching effect. Here I go for a second set, and it's still very difficult. You can see how low my elbows are, and part of the reason is I think for this, as I kind of do these sets, I'm having trouble. I think my elbows aren't wide enough, and got this weird look on my face because I hate this. But if you're struggling with front squats, I'm telling you, you're going to benefit from watching this video, because I fucking hate these. I really do. But it's something I want to do in the future, so I figure I'd work on it a little bit. Here's another stretch where you are emphasizing the tricep, the elbow, and kind of biasing external rotation. And what that is, from my position, is if you see my left fist or my left hand, I'm trying to make it go away from my midline, away from the middle of my body. I'm stretching myself out using the band to pull my tricep and lat. And this is a weird stretch because you really don't even feel anything. Well, you do feel something, you just feel a lot of discomfort. Here I'm going to foam roll my upper back and thoracic spine and lats. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to get better extension in the thoracic spine because I'm very stiff there. Here's, I think, a third set. And I just remember that this is how I'm supposed to load the bar. I got this kind of positioning or the setup from, I think I saw Diane Fu do this setup, and I watched it on a video on the mobility wad. And I have to use a box because I have to bend forward so deep that the bar is just going to roll down my biceps. So here, after doing those stretches, now I feel a little bit looser, and I can kind of push my elbows up a little higher. And the funny thing about these videos, I'm just always in pain, because when I take my hand out, my right wrist is stretching so much because I can't handle that position. And then here I try to roll out my tricep more, roll out my lat more, and just put some pressure on there. Here's a rumble roller. This thing's pretty cool. For the money, I think it's a little overpriced. I don't find that great use out of it. I just prefer to use a barbell or a PVC pipe. But it does a job when necessary. I think it's kind of cool. It just kind of depends on your needs, actually. I'm just rolling all those muscles across the side of the shoulder blade, teres major, teres minor, teres major really. And here I'm using the barbell as a foam roller because I need something more stiff to kind of dig into my triceps and then push some weight into it. And again, you can see me bend my elbow back and forth. Here's a fourth set. And I think it's actually pretty good. You can actually see my elbows are a little higher this time. And my facial expression hasn't changed a whole lot. But I really feel like my elbows are higher. I'm not in nearly as much like a stretch pain on the right side, because that's really where my issue is my right forearm. And also my right tricep and lat. And then here I try to mobilize my tricep even more by really pressing it back, trying to pull my hand or make the band pull my arm away from my midline to focus on stretching that, getting the external rotation. And it's just really about feeling that position, because remember, I'm just basically exaggerating the position I would have on the front squat. Here's a 5th set, again, more box squats. And this actually increased the weight. This is 175. And you can see my elbows are higher, my wrist is flexing a little bit easier. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention too is I'm using a 2-finger grip. I'm not even using a full grip. A lot of people say that you're just supposed to let the fingers kind of guide the weight or kind of stay there while it sits on your shoulders. Well, if I can't keep my elbows high enough, it's kind of hard. So here again, continue to roll my tricep. In reality, this is exactly what I'm doing on this workout. This is essentially a skill workout. It's not even really that hard of a workout. It's just a really kind of a painful chore-like workout. You know, if you're really trying to get good at something, you suck at it really bad usually in the beginning, or you're just not very good. Here's a 6th set with 195 pounds. And by this time, I'm warm enough where the weight doesn't even really matter anymore, because, you know, I can squat, 360 pounds, so it's not even really about how much weight I can tolerate. It's just really my forearms and wrist. So here I find that I'm actually holding my elbows up higher, so all that work I spent, this video is not that long, but I spent like basically an hour trying to do this. And if this is something you want to get good at, you essentially have to do it a lot. And this first particular session, that's what I get done. And I think this is the part where I basically get pretty frustrated. Yeah, I think this is when I get frustrated. This is really annoying because, I'm really trying to get improvement, and I am getting improvement, but the improvement isn't worth the time that I spent. I spent an hour. I'm trying to get some sort of a workout. I thought I was going to be able to, get 225, but I just can't keep my torso upright enough. And by that time, my forearm is pretty stretched out, and it doesn't hurt, but it's definitely feeling the end of the limits. And if I push it out too much, I'm going to be overstretching it more than what I can tolerate. I tried doing a cross arm grip, and I don't think you may have not seen. Actually, I think I left it out of this video, but you can see here I get pretty frustrated. I'm just like, this fucking sucks. I hate front squats. But I figure I need to start working on it somewhat, so that in the future, when I do decide to do like full cleans and snatches and stuff like that, this is going to definitely work out in the future. So I figure I'll incorporate it into some of my workouts, because it's something that I want to get good at. So I think about what I do. I think I just decide, I just go, fuck it. I'm just going to do some squats. And I pretty much give up. So I spent about an hour and 10 minutes just trying to work on this front squat. So I said, I'm just going to do some squats. So I focused on doing ass to grass squats. So that's all I got in this video. The good news is I can squat really low, which is good. But other than that, my front squat is kind of in shambles. But that's part of the deal. Anyways, hope you learned something from this video. Get an idea of kind of what it takes to get a front squat in when you really suck at it, or when you suck at the front rack position. And thanks for watching.